Welcome to this very special episode of Feeding Our Young. Our compatriot Jen had to get her hair done. Izzie, what do you feel about that?
I think because she's gone, we should talk about her behind her back and tell stories about her.
I think that's brilliant. I mean, she is blonde, and she's getting her highlights done. So let's take advantage of that time while she's driving. She has no idea, you guys.
Yes. Talk about our favorite nurse, the nurse I want to grow up to be like.
You and me both. You and me both.
So it's a good talk behind her back. It's a good talk.
Of course. We're going to brag about her behind her. Join us. Okay.
Eric?
Yeah.
You got a story about Jen? What do you got?
Yeah, I definitely do. We're doing this. So she has no idea this is happening right now, and we're going to do this real quick so that Izzie can get some sleep. But I always envisioned this as a 3-episode thing anyway, because there were 3 of us. So
she's just never going to know.
Never going to know until it comes out. So yeah. Oh, right here, right now.
What?
You and I we have to, like, pinky swear, blood, whatever. We're not going to tell her we did this.
Oh, how long do you think it'll take her to figure this out? Oh my God.
No, so she won't know until this drops, until our 3 episodes drop.
Oh,
and it will put it on there, and I'll say it's a 3-episode thing, and she'll be like, wait, what? He must have, like, maybe done editing or different. Oh, okay, all right. All right, so there you are, everybody. You're in on the secret. Jen doesn't know and won't know till she hears this for the first time.
She goes, okay. Me.
So story about Jen. Well, I mean, for me, obviously, I don't go as way back with her as you do.
Wait, how did you meet her? What was your first encounter?
Ooh, how did I meet her first encounter? It was working at Gonzaga, of course. Yeah, because I never saw her up at Holy on the 1 or 2 times or whatever that brought me up that way. Like when I went up for I followed Allie Willard for my precepted for the master's degree, and didn't see her then, of course, because Allie was nights anyway. But there was no overlap there. So no, the first time I met her was when I got the job at Gonzaga, and I didn't even. She was. Let me think. I want to make sure the timeline's straight, but I'm pretty dang sure that when I started at Gonzaga, that was her and Tara's first years as full-time instructors, full-time lecturers, and so she was newly minted kind of chair of the OB department there, just kind of the one that we all kind of point our directions to. So I mean, I'm meeting this. I mean, like you, like everybody else, like just this tour de force of a woman who is like the passion. She doesn't have to say a word, but her passion for all things teaching, all things OB. Like, I'm like, oh, immediately I went, first of all, you always dream about like, okay, hopefully the dream that I've had for years and years and years of teaching students, that the reality matches the expectation, right? And not only has it, but it's gone it's surpassed my expectations. And then on top of this, I'm starting day 1 in the role that I had always hoped to get. You know what I mean? Since I've been an OB, and I'm like, these are the people I get to work with. Like this is a lady I get to like learn from. Yes, please, thank you. And that is more icing on the cake. So that's my first story. Izzie, to you.
Okay, so actually, what's funny is I mean, I know Jen for a little bit longer than you, but I remember Jen was put in that position at Gonzaga, and I was talking about kind of clinicals, the groups, how's it going? She goes, yeah, I got, some more clinical instructors I get to work with. She goes, yeah, and there's a guy. I guess there's a guy, another baby nurse.
What a weirdo.
And I was like, oh, Eric? She's like, wait, you know him? I'm like, yeah, he's great. She's like, wait, how do you know him? And so, I mean, we found in, Spokane, like the nursing education world is like, it's incestuous. It's eerily small. Like, we've met. So anyway, I was just like, oh my gosh, he's fantastic. You're going to love him. And she's like, oh my word. So anyway, awesome. I knew you guys would love each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah. My first time meeting Jen, oh my gosh, was my first day orienting at the hospital that she and I get to work at together. And it was kind of a crazy day. I had come to that unit as an experienced L&D nurse, so I had a pretty good premise of what I was doing. And we're at this delivery. There's a language barrier. We have a translator that's not working out so hot in our favor. Like, you could tell things are getting lost in translation. Baby delivers. We put baby skin to skin with mom. I'm the labor nurse. Jen comes in as the baby nurse. I've not met Jen. I don't know Jen from Adam. She seems to know what she's doing. She's very good at her job.
Mhm.
She comes and baby screaming, crying, everything's going well. And the patient goes and just pinches the baby's nose completely shut.
Oh,
And we were all kind of stunned. And Jen said, "Nope, don't do that." And like, I think moved the mom's hand away. And then the mom went to do it again, occluded the baby's nose again. And then Jen actually like slapped her hand and it was like,
oh,
"No," like finger in her face. And we all kind of froze and Jen froze too. And we're like, "Oh my gosh,
yeah.
did she just really do that?" And the patient giggled, we giggled, Jen giggled, but we all kind of have this moment of like, what the heck? So I'm like, who's this nurse who knows what she's doing? But she's like slapping patients? Granted, it was playful and sweet,
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
patient
yeah,
thought it
yeah,
was
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
There was a cultural difference there, and that was something that they did at deliveries. And to us as like baby nurses, L&D nurses, you don't occlude no airway. You don't do that.
Babies are not mouth breathers, everybody.
Yes,
Just that's the
yes,
reason for the importance of this. If you're
yeah.
missing that detail, and also Izzy, you said Jen has shared this story before. We're
Hmm.
not. This is not a throw Jen under the bus
Yeah.
episode. Not yet, anyway. Awesome. Any more to that story, and I'll
Hmm.
give my next little 2 cents.
Hmm. No,
And, and if
fantastic. I
no,
remember
that's
I like after the delivery we went out in the hallway, we kind of debriefed for a second. I was like, "What the heck were you doing?" Swatting her hand away, and I remember Jim being like, "I don't know, I just needed her to stop." And anyway, it was funny, and we all laughed about it. But yeah, it was just cute in the end. So the patient loved us. We loved the patient. Got the baby to breathe. Everything was good. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah.
So then again, limited experience here, but another
Hmm.
little story is that so then, she's kind of spearheading this thing and she's really trying to champion so we're picking up right where I left off on my story.
Hmm.
And she's trying to spearhead and champion OCPs at Gonzaga,
Hmm.
oral care plans, which is kind of a model different than CRTs. And so the idea is that we're, stepping away or at least adding, but at least getting away from that model where you bring students in the night before, they gotta, look up their patient and all the things, and you're doing these, ridiculously multi-page care plans, written care plans. And the thing that every nursing student, right, Izzy, like we all,
Hmm.
I go back to mine and I was like, I hated those so much. And because then again, and I understand the thought behind it, we're not trying to poo-poo it, they do have their place. But is it something we do in practice? No. What do we do in practice? In practice, we got to, think on our feet and all the things. So anyway, that's the crux of the OCP, is that the instructor is then facilitating this, and that's not, blah, 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 blah. But the point is, she's trying to champion this. So she's like, okay,
Hmm.
so Eric, we're going to make a video, and you're going to be I think I was, you're going to be I'll be the instructor and you'll be the student, and we're going to give an example video of what we're going to do on shift. And I'm like, that's awesome. I have no idea what's going on. This is great. I'm like, I'm the new guy here. Can we, she's like, no, you'll be fine. Like, you'll totally be fine. And I'm like, well, I mean, I can play a bumbling student, no problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can absolutely, because that
It
was
comes
my
natural
role in
to
this.
us.
Is like, yeah, I had to go back and try and come up with different wrong answers to things or whatever the case may be. And we've since been like, we really need to redo that video. But I'm like, I barely know this woman from anyone, and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do it. This sounds great. Sounds wonderful. So, not an entertaining story, but I know you got more. You're next.
Oh my gosh. So that was my first encounter with Jen, the, baby nose story.
Mm-hmm.
A few weeks go by, I'm supplemental. I don't see Jen very often at this point in my life. And I see that I've got a patient who's 10 centimeters and pushing, and I'm going to go take over. And Jen was the day shift nurse that I was taking over for. I go into the room and go in, start trying to get a little bit of a handoff, and Jen just turns to me at the bedside and kind of grabs me by the shoulders affectionately, and she's like, "I am going to be in here for delivery. Do you understand?" I'm like, "Oh, oh, okay." She goes, "I will be here." I'm like, "Cool." So we're pushing, and then it's clear that the patient's not pushing super effectively, and it's going to take us a hot minute. And Jen is like, "Okay, I'm gonna go turn at the nurse's station, but I need you to call me back for delivery, okay? Like I have to be in here for delivery." And I was like, "Who is this chick? Is she what is the deal here?" So anyway, Jen leaves. She's charged. We get to delivery. Jen comes back. She's the baby nurse. It was just very loving and wonderful, and it was very clear that Jen needed to be there for the delivery. I took over on the recovery and recovering the patient. I get to a point where I need to pause and go out to the nurse's station, and Jen's there finishing up her daily charting before she heads home. And I was like, "All right, what's the deal here?" And she it was very evident that she and the patient had poured into each other throughout the day and that they were so invested in one another and in the family. The patient had this wonderful, like heroic story of I think she like had beaten cancer a couple times and this was a
Oh,
miracle baby.
oh,
And I think Jen may have, had delivered another baby with them. And so there was this very long, beautiful history. I'm getting goosebumps as I say this,
yeah,
between them. And it was just one of those moments where it was like Jen needed to be in the room for that family.
yeah.
And it wasn't to, stomp over me because she was the more
Nope.
experienced nurse, not one bit. It was like she needed to be there and the family needed her. And I just so loved that Jen was willing to like put in extra time to be there for them to like wrap up this beautiful labor and delivery picture for them. So like she gives her patients like her all. And
100%.
it's like so fun to see that. And like Jen had a glow, the patient had a glow. I think I ended up taking a picture of Jen with him because I'm like, y'all need this. Like, you need to have a picture of
Yeah,
what I'm seeing right now. Like, this is just
yeah.
beautiful. So I've gotten to see like that
Oh,
side of Jen, and it just like, oh, just love it. I just love it. She impacts patients in such a wonderful way. Like, even with the hard patients, like, she's able to give them the truth and the sunny side of things too, even when it's like a dark or sad day. So love her
yeah.
for that. Just love her for that.
And it's interesting because I feel like we have a really good OB group at Gonzaga. It's
Hmm.
not bragging over any other institution or whatever the case may be. I just love the fact that we have two adjunct instructors, myself and Nicole, and then Tara and what was the fourth one? Jen. That's right.
Yeah.
No, but I'm like going, wait, who's that? Oh yeah, Jen, the person we're talking about.
Yeah, that one.
But no, there's the four of us, and so we meet for dinner after every semester. How did things go? How was that sort of thing? And I'll never forget. She and Tara had just received their feedback from students,
Hmm.
and it was brutal. It was brutal. Students love her. Students love her, and every student is like, "I want to, man!" And they can't. They're just like they brag on her. Even in my clinical, like
Hmm.
my students, like Jen's just amazing. So the fact that then she sits down and they talk about how they got these brutal feedbacks from students, and not like constructive, but more character type things. And
Hmm.
she's shared this in her episode. I'm not sharing anything that's not being shared. Just blew my mind. But all that to say that wasn't kind of the direction I was going with that. Why I went that direction, I don't know. I'm sure there was a purpose because what I want to circle back around because we have one last thing to each share about her. But for me, my standard for my students, and I always tell them this, and I've said it before on the podcast, but my standard for my students is look, I'm not here to convert you into an OB nurse. You may not want to do labor and delivery. You may not want to do postpartum. You may not want to even do the NICU. But that's not my job to convert you. My goal for you at the end of our 6 weeks together, if you come out of our clinical saying, you know what, no, I still don't want to do it, but I could if I had to,
Hmm.
we've won. That's my bar. It's super low, but that's the bar. But what's funny is I've had students tell me, not my other students I've worked with, and that's where they're like, "Oh no, Eric, like." She tells us, she's like, she told one of them told me in particular. She goes, no, she told me, she goes, I'm not, I'm probably not going to be an OB nurse, and that's what she's like. No, you're going to be an OB nurse. You're going to make a great OB nurse. And so, as I understand it, she is so passionate, she will convert anyone to OB.
Hmm.
And so, if I had not gotten into the OB world prior to meeting her, I see how that happens, man. I
Oh,
see how
totally.
that happens. So,
You
okay,
can't take the educator out of her. Like you just can't. Like we'll
and that's
be
your last bit. That's your last
Oh
bit,
my
right?
gosh, totally.
Yeah,
Oh, totally. So should like we'll be standing at the nurse's station trying to analyze a tracing. And when you've got everyone's got a decade plus experience in their back pocket, like we can just look at a tracing and go like, yeah, good. And now that okay, let's do this, blah blah blah. Get our
yeah.
interventions in line and let's go. And Jen will stand there and Jen will start talking about like the physiology behind the fetal heart rate tracing and da da da. And we have to like pause and be like, Jen, we were at that class with you. We know. She's like, I'm sorry. I just can't take the educator out of me. And she'll do this thing with her hands, and she just can't stop. And like, you just love her. But like, I've gotten to hear Jen's stories about her growth in the nursing education field and at Gonzaga, which, oh my gosh, Gonzaga is such an incredible fit for her. And the product of nurses that you guys put out into our community is
Hmm.
phenomenal. Anytime we get a Gonzaga new grad, I'm like, okay, the bar, like, it's just, they are there to be good nurses and it's fantastic. But something I appreciate is when Jen is telling me stories about how she reworked this lecture or this or that. Yes, she's doing a great job of introducing OB into the students' lives and recruiting them. and getting them interested, but also the how she does it, I feel like lays a good foundation for them to take these concepts and the way that
Yes.
she's teaching them and they're learning it and apply it to now med surge, now apply that
Yep.
method to peds. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just wish I would have had that when I was a J1. I'm like,
Yes.
and she's got a motivating tone. When you hear her get passionate about things, you're just hooked. Like you are like honed in with what she's saying, and it's hard not to get excited too. Like she's got that attitude. You've got that attitude too. Like when you guys get going, I'm like, now I'm excited. I'll go to the C-section admin now. Like I'll take a fifth couplet today. No big deal. Like I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Let's all be pumped together. So like
Yeah.
I just commend educators like you guys for motivating students and like, be the best mother baby nurse for 6 weeks during your clinicals. Like you can do this. We can make you interested. Or like at the end, if you're not super interested, just have a healthy respect for that unit and that area of
Yeah.
medicine.
Yeah.
Because guess what? In our area, like you may not want to work labor and delivery, mother baby, whatever, but you're going to know somebody who has a baby.
Yeah.
You may have a baby yourself, or your partner may have a baby, and just,
Yep.
things like that. So,
Yeah.
just,
No, and
I love,
Izzy, you include yourself in that group too, because legitimately, that's why I'm like, this is what I've said before. Is every episode I come out of like every recording session, not every
hmm
episode, every recording session, I come out and
hmm
I'm like, I want to drop this today. And I'm trying to do
Aw,
things to, you know what I mean? And that streak
hmm
has not ended. I've sat with over 70 people now, and we're over 100 episodes recorded in the
oh,
can.
dang.
And that streak has not ended. I've yet to sit
hmm
down with someone and be like, well, okay, that was kind of a whiff, or you know what I mean? Like, come
Yeah.
on, I don't know, you know what I mean? But the idea is now it's like a different perspective. Now it's like
hmm
there are so many people I've sat down with, and I'm like, man, I can't wait to be like you, Izzy. I can't wait to
hmm
be like Jen when I grow up. If I grow up, that's not
Yeah.
a. This one is
Fair
an if,
statement.
not a when. Yeah, that's a tough one. But no, we were just doing this out of fun. Hopefully, you all listened and enjoyed. But the whole takeaway from all of this, if you're a nursing student, a prospective nursing student, or nurse, man, enthusiasm's contagious.
hmm
We've talked about this on multiple episodes where you will, like, I think I even touched on one of these too here, Izzy, where we talk about you will have a reputation for better or for worse.
hmm
You're going to have a reputation. What reputation do you want? What do you
hmm
want people saying about you behind your back, like we just did? You know
Such
what I mean?
a
This could have been a totally different episode if she went a different way in life. I guess I don't know, but no. Anyway, Izzy, just thank you so much. I've had a delightful time with you and the person who's getting her hair done. Whatever.
mm,
You're the one that stuck around. Here we
thank you.
are.
No highlights in
We've
my
made it
hair.
happen. No, And
Mm-mm.
we are all natural, everyone.
hmm
All natural. All right. Have a great sleep. You guys, Izzy did this after a night shift. After a night
Night
shift is
shift is
now.
amazing. A night
It
shift is
really is.
amazing.
Like I said, I will never make bones about that. I will say, however, from a like living perspective, I just love it.
Cut it out, Daywalker. Cut it out.
All right, you night sleeper. No, you're not a night sleeper. You're a day sleep.
Day
All
sleeper,
right.
man. Day
I don't
sleeper.
know. I don't have an excuse. I got
Mr.
nothing.
Eric,
It's there.
thank you.
Thank you. It is 10:40 a.m. and Izzy is signing off and going to bed.
I'm going
Thanks
to
for
take
your
a nap.
time, my friend.
Thank you, sir. See ya.
Peace out. Bye.
Bye.
Here's what's happening on the next episode of Feeding Our Young.
It was definitely difficult. I think especially on my unit there was definitely a culture shift. I know in the beginning of the podcast we had mentioned the eating our young.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of been a staple of I think some of the nursing field, but that had completely shifted by the time that I was in my field, which I am so incredibly thankful for.
Yeah.
Staff that I had worked with and grown to love immensely were incredible. They were super supportive. Let me ask a million bajillion questions and I still do. I'm at my 1 year and I probably ask at least 3 questions a shift to my nurses. But I think there's just so much growth and knowledge to have in the field of nursing, especially in your first year, that being okay with not knowing everything and just being excited and open to learning really helped shift my perspective of being a new grad nurse. And I'm just very thankful for the support that I had, and honestly the staff that I had during nursing school who were still supportive of me afterwards. Yeah, I think it can be difficult, but having a good support system and just being confident in yourself that it's okay not to know everything, and you're still not going to know anything, and that's the exciting thing about nursing, is you're constantly going to learn something every shift that you have.
Did you like today's episode of Feeding Our Young? Let today's honored guests know by emailing us at thanks@feedingouryoung.org. Also, if you are a nursing student, nurse, or a nursing instructor and would like to be featured on a future episode, please email us a few details about yourself at the very special email address mystory@feedingouryoung.org. If you have a question you would like addressed in a future Q&A episode, please send it to q@feedingouryoung.org. For all other inquiries, please email us at info@feedingouryoung.org or text us at area code 509-ALL-THEM, 509-255-8436. We're so excited to have you return to hear our next honored guest. Be sure to follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Feeding Our Young LLC. Again, that's username Feeding Our Young LLC. Until next time, be encouraged and go find someone to encourage today.